Now let's look at assignment 1, problem number 1. You have x minus 10 is equal to negative 8. I'm going to draw the line. Again, this is simply to separate the left hand from the right hand side of the equal sign. Find your variable, which is again on the left hand side, and then ask yourself what's trying to be done to that variable. You have a negative 10 or subtracting 10. Now your goal is to get x by itself on the left hand side. So you would ask yourself, what is the opposite of subtracting 10 or negative 10? And that is adding 10. I need to come over here and add 10 to this side, again to keep both sides balanced. Negative 10 plus 10 is equal to 0, so we would say that those cancel, leaving you with x is equal to negative 8 plus 10 is positive 2. Problem number 2 on your assignment is negative 11 is equal to a minus 6. I'm going to go ahead and draw the line separating the left and right hand side of the equation. Find your variable. In this case, it is on the right hand side. Ask yourself what is being done to your variable. So I'm going to see that it is subtracting 6 or negative 6. The opposite or inverse operation is to add 6. And again, I have to do that to both sides to keep it equal. Negative 6 plus 6 is equal to 0, so we would cancel those. And you have a is equal to negative 11 plus 6 is going to be negative 5. Number 3 is 24
Would you bring a table to the front office, please?
equals m plus 7. I'm going to draw my line. I'm going to ask myself, where's my variable? What is being done to my variable? So we're adding a positive 7. The inverse or opposite of a positive 7 is negative 7. So I have to come here and do negative 7 as well. Positive 7 minus 7 is 0, so we say that cancels. It leaves you with your variable m. And then you have 24 minus 7, which is going to be 17. Number 4 is n plus 13. Okay, I'm going to start by drawing my line, find my variable, ask myself what is being done to my variable, and it's adding 13. So I want to subtract 13 from both sides. 13 minus 13 is 0, so we would say that cancels, leaving you with n equals negative 4 minus 13. Now think of your integer rules. They're same sign, so I'm going to add these together and keep the sign. Problem number 5 is x plus 17 is equal to 22. I'm going to draw my line. Ask myself what's trying to be done to the x. It's adding 17. So the opposite or inverse operation would be to subtract 17 from both sides. The 17's cancel, leaves you with x is equal to 5. Number 6, m minus 4 is equal to negative 13. I'm going to draw my line, and I'm going to find my variable. ask myself what is being done to the variable. In this case, it's -4 or -4. Remember, your goal is to get the variable by itself. So I'm going to I'm going to add 4 to both sides. The 4's cancel. M is equal to -13 plus 4 is -9. Number 7 is -18 equals P minus 20. I'm going to draw my river, find my variable, ask myself what is being done to the variable. In this case, it's subtracting 20 or -20. And I am going to ask myself what is the opposite of that, and that's going to be adding 20 or +20. Remember, I have to do it to both sides. -20 plus 20 cancels. P is equal to -18 plus 20 is 2. Number 8 is -27 is equal to x minus 17. I'm going to draw my line, find my variable, ask myself what is the opposite of -17 or -17, and that is adding 17 to both sides. The 17's cancel, leaves you with x is equal to -27 plus 17 is -10. Number 9 is -22 is equal to -9 plus n. Again, draw your river. Now this is a good example. The 9 is trying to add to n, but it's adding a -9. So you have to ask yourself, what is the opposite of a -9? So it is a +9. And since I added 9 to this side, I have to come over here and add 9 to this side. I cancel both of these because -9 plus 9 is 0. Leaves me with n is equal to -13. Number 10 is n minus 9 is equal to -17. I draw my line. I add 9 to both sides. The 9's cancel. N is equal to -8. Number 11 is -25 equals n minus 9. I'm going to draw my line on my variable. In this case, it's subtracting 9 or -9, so I'm going to add 9 to both sides. The 9's cancel or equal 0. N is equal to -25 plus 9 is -16. 12 is B plus 18 is equal to 29. I'll draw my line. Positive 18. Remember, your goal is to get your variable by itself. So I'm going to subtract 18. Since I did it to this side, I have to do it to this side. 18 minus 18 is 0, so it cancels. Leaves you with B is equal to 29 minus 18 is positive 11. Number 13 is x plus 15 equals 19. I draw my line. I subtract 15 from both sides. 15 minus 15 is 0. Leaves me with x equals 19 minus 15, which is 4. Number 14 is 11 equals v minus 6. I'm going to draw my line. Remember, your goal is to get your variable by itself. To do that, you have to ask yourself what is being done to your variable. In this case, it's minus 6 or negative 6. So the opposite of that would be to add 6. And we have to do it to both sides because these two sides are equal to one another. Negative 6 plus 6 is 0. So we would say that cancels. It leaves you with v equals 17. Number 15. X minus 11 is equal to negative 28. I'm going to draw my line. Ask yourself what is being done to your variable x. It's subtracting, so I'm going to add 11 to both sides. Negative 11 plus 11 is 0. Leave you with x equals negative 28 plus 11 is negative 17. 16 is negative 5 equals negative 10 plus r. For this question, then let me go ahead and draw my line. The negative 10 is adding, but it's a negative 10. So when you are trying to find the opposite of that, you need to make sure that you are adding 10 to both sides. This is a common mistake because of the addition. Students want to automatically subtract, and that does not get rid of this negative 10. So negative 10 plus 10 is equal to 0. So we cancel those. Leaves you with r equals positive 5. 17 7 equals v minus 8. Draw my line. I would add 8 to both sides. Negative 8 plus 8 cancel. It leaves v is equal to 15. Number 18 is p plus 3 is equal to negative 5. Draw my line. Remember, your goal is to get p by itself. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. It's going to do the opposite of whatever this is doing to my variable. Positive 3 minus 3 equals 0, so these cancel. P is equal to negative 5 minus 3 would be negative 8. Number 19 is 3 equals p minus 2. Draw my line. Ask yourself, what is this negative 2 trying to do to your variable p? So do the opposite of that. So add 2 to both sides. Negative 2 plus 2 cancel. Leaves p is equal to 5. 20 is negative 15 plus n is equal to negative 19. Draw your line. Ask yourself what is trying to be done to your variable. In this case, we have negative 15. So the opposite of negative 15 is positive 15. I gotta add 15 to both sides. Negative 15 plus 15 cancel. Leaves you n is equal to negative 4. Okay, so that's all the problems on assignment number 1. Something that I did not do that you are required to do is to show us your check step. Now, I've explained how to do that in the short video uploaded previous to this video, but I'm going to review with you what you need to show us in each one of your problems. For problem number 1, we had gotten that x is equal to 2. So I'm going to take this answer and I'm going to substitute it back into the original equation. So for instance, this would be 2 minus 10 is equal to negative 8. Now what you want to do is ignore everything on the other side of the equal sign and solve this like an expression. 2 minus 10. Well, 2 minus 10 is negative 8. And bring down the rest of your equation. And if these two sides are equivalent or equal to one another, we know that we have the correct solution. One other thing that you need to make sure. You need to make sure that you have shown us all of your work and all of your check steps for each of the problems. One last thing that you need to do for today is you need to complete your reflection for this learning target. Now your reflection is over what did you learn or what did you notice. Some of us may have remembered this from 6th grade, so you can talk to us about how would you solve a one-step equation. And then also everyone is required to make up their own one-step equation that could be solved with either addition or subtraction, and do that in the reflection. If there isn't enough space given to you on this sheet, you may do that on a separate sheet of paper. But again, if you want to know what you need to do to earn all the points possible for today, right here is everything that is required from you. 10 points for each day over a 10-day period is 100 points. Have a good day.